Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome. So just a quick update on what I've been working on, just in case you're interested. As some of you may know, I have this app that I created where you can create HTML templates, right? So it looks something like this, where you can add stuff to this very quickly and start editing stuff immediately. So you can find this over at app.freephptutorials.com. So obviously this is free to use. Thanks to the people that support me on Patreon, I can afford to do things like this. So if you can support me on Patreon, that'd be awesome. Now, some of you complained that the classes that I generated by this thing, I just named something like class 1, class 2, etc., etc. So you wanted more control over that, so you can rename classes as you wish and group things much better. And on top of that, on this one, you can only create like one page per website. So I went back to the drawing board to recreate this because I realized that the features you guys want are not possible in the current version and the way I set things up. So I went back and recreated it. So it looks pretty much the same, just a difference in the core software that's running this. And by the way, I created this using PHP and JavaScript. So at some point, I will make tutorials on how to create something like this from scratch. Now, the only thing you'll notice here is there's a few more items at the top here, because now I've added a page list. So now you can put more pages than one here. So let's say, for example, like pages and say new page. So we have page 2 here and page 1. So at least now you can put as many pages as you want. So for example, on the first page here, I can have something like, let's see, maybe first page is a gallery here. Maybe this is the index page. And then on page 2, you see now it's empty. I can add something else, like maybe a user card or maybe a login. Let's go to logins here. And I can add maybe a login page, something like this, right? So page 1, page 2. And on top of that, you can actually edit the properties of these pages, like page property. You can change the name of this page. Here it says page 2. You can say maybe this is the login instead, and then change the actual file name and say login.html or login.php. That's up to you. And then you can put some description and keywords for, let's say, a valid description. And then keywords here, some keyword, maybe separated by a comma, something like that, and hit save. And as it is updated, you see that things have changed over here, just like it is with the home page. If I click properties, then I can change from index.php or HTML to something else, right? So all that is all new. And on top of that, now you have the option to rename your classes. So like in this case where there are these images, they all have the same class name, which means if I adjust this particular image, as you can see, all images that have the same class are adjusting as well, right? That's the beauty of classes, I guess. Excuse me. So now you can even add more than one class to a particular item. So like here, I can add a new class, and there it is. I can rename that class to something and say new underscore class, something like that, and hit save. And now I have a new class, and I can add different styles to this. Like for example, increase the width maybe to 400 pixels instead, and or reduce it like that. Where is that? Let's go to 1. Or let's say 50. So now, as you can see, because this class is in front, I can change the order because whatever class is in front takes priority. So if I change the order, you see now it has no effect, but then it does. So there's all this cool stuff that I've added to the new version. Even hover classes can be added here. You add a hover class, and then you can show different things that happen when you're hovering, for example, like I would say a hover on this particular one. If I want this to rotate when I'm hovering, for example, where there's transforms here, I can just add a rotation. If I select the hover class, and now I'm seeing what would happen if I hover on this thing. So I can rotate something like this. All right, look at that. So that's a hover thingy. Let me remove it from being visible. So now when I do that, I am hovering on that particular item like that. Or you can even put transitions to this thing. For example, if I add a transition, now the hover happens slowly. Now let me increase that just to make a point. As you can see, there it is. All right. So all those things are now possible. And on top of that, we have responsive design here, which I have improved as well. Let me close that. So now you can put, you can see what happens when you set things to a particular, let's say, for example, on this section here, I want this to have a different color when it reaches here. So on this one, I would go, let's say, background color to green, okay, on this particular point. But if I go back here, you see it's now white, and then it becomes green, and just like that. So this is really responsive, as you would imagine. So let's try and see a preview of this whole thing, if it's possible even. So it's still a little bit buggy because I'm still creating some stuff and changing. I had to change the whole core concept underneath. It may look the same, but the code is very, very different. So apparently here, it's not allowing me to do a preview. So I'll have to check what that issue is. But anyway, I just want to give you guys an update, but this will be available very soon. I'll be done coding with this. I'm almost done actually. And now, of course, you can also sign up and log in to the system here, because previously you didn't need to do this, but now this is optional. Of course, you don't have to sign up or log in, but in order to save, you need to be signed in, but you can create something and export without having to sign up and all that. But this just gives you more control because now you can have templates that you can save for yourself. Also, I added color palettes and stuff. So now you can have color palettes of your own to suit your style and stuff. So there's lots coming up. So thanks to everybody supporting me on Patreon. I really appreciate that. Links are in the description if you want to, or you can support me through PayPal with a one-time payment. That's really up to you if you can afford it. So thanks very much to all the support. I'll be releasing this for free very, very soon. I'll see you in another tutorial.